There's lots of reasons why you would mouth breathe, which if you didn't know, we don't want to mouth breathe when we're not eating, talking, or drinking. The oral rest posture is your tongue gently sealed up fully to the palate. So think about the tongue in thirds. I've got a nice little tongue diagram. So 1, 2, 3. Also, FYI, 8 muscles. How cool is that? All right, so the tip of your tongue, we want that to go behind your 2 front teeth, and we call that the spot. It's the same place where you say na 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 na, ta 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 ta, da 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 da, and la 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 la. So with rest, when our tongue is not eating, talking, or drinking, tongue tip to the spot. Let's see, I'm gonna check. Can y'all find your spot? Nice. All right. Think of that as your anchor. That is your home base. That is where we're going to start all these other exercises from. And if that's all you can do, great. That's where I want you to start. Tongue tip to spot. Spot checks. Check in all the time. When you flush the toilet, spot check. When you buckle your seatbelt, spot check. When you go feed your dog, spot check. When you wash your hands, spot check. Like, where the heck is my tongue? I like the hashtag where's your tongue, 1, because it's kind of weird, and 2, it's like literally, where is your tongue? Where's your tongue? Now, once you get your tongue blade, or excuse me, once you get your tongue tip up, now once you start to lift the blade, and this starts to get to the pump, the suction, the seal. I want you to be able to seal your entire tongue blade. Front, middle, back, all the way up to your palate. If that is challenging, got a few things we're going to work on with it. Before we do that, the rest of oral rest posture, your jaw's unclenched. You want about 1 to 2 millimeters between your upper and lower teeth, and then lips closed. Breathing through your. So tongue is up, jaw's unclenched, lips are closed, breathing in through the nose, breathing out of the nose. And even just a step further, when you're breathing in, that negative pressure, this is what we're talking about, intraoral pressure, where you want to have a full seal. So we'll bring this out now. Full seal. We've like sliced our head in half. Front, middle, back, up. Because look at all that beautiful space. And we already know if we're having a hard time, we're going to probably look more into here. But we need the nose to work because that's where we're going to breathe. We need the tongue to be able to rest up so we can open up the space behind the tongue, which is your throat, which is your prana, which is your life force, which is pretty dang important. And of course, if you are starting to feel that terror or that fear, I'm very curious what's happening here. Is your uvula working correctly? Are you able to seal off seal off the airway, like when you have food in there, or are you aspirating? But anyway, tongue is up. That's your intraoral seal, intraoral pressure. So when the negative pressure comes in, goes down the throat and into the lungs can fill up, the diaphragm contracts, the belly rises, the ribs expand. And I've heard it called a rib basket, and I like that a lot more. I like to think of those sweet grass baskets that kind of move a little bit. Those are your ribs. Lungs fill up, ribs expand, diaphragm contracts, belly rises. As you exhale, the belly falls. As the diaphragm recoils, the ribs come back together, and then the air comes back up and out. This is where we have issues. If the tongue cannot stay up and is down low, it's going to impact this, which is your airway space. And now that little red thing, that's your tonsil. And then adenoids would be like right up here. Now, if any of these are pretty big, it's going to block that space. If you have a deviated septum, it might make it challenging to breathe through your nose. There's all these little pitfalls. So if there's something in the nose congestion-wise, you're going to use your mouth. And you're going to use your mouth because you only have 2 ways to breathe, and your body is like, we ain't dying today. So it's going to make sure that it has a way. But when your tongue starts to go back, either because your tongue's down low or it can't fully elevate and seal, or because you have a hard time closing your lips or a tongue tie, or there's tension, or you have a jaw that's really far back, or the way that your teeth are shaped, there can be lots of reasons. Or you've just never done it. No one told you. You hadn't met me yet. You didn't know where your tongue's supposed to be. You hadn't tried. That then creates narrowing of here. And so all these different pressures as we're pulling air in, pushing air out, usually you'll start to get a more vertical breathing pattern if we don't have this up to breathe in and out that way. Mouth opens, jaw will come back, impacts this. And this is when we're awake and upright. This is where the snoring, the upper airway resistance, the apnea comes in. So when you go to sleep and you're on your back, if this doesn't have enough strength and stamina and stability, that's where you get collapse. And that's where you start to get apnea events where you'll stop breathing, or there'll be that obstruction where you get the or that snoring or any of those sensations. Literally, this is an instrument that you're playing. This is a wind instrument. It's going to make all different interesting noises based on the pressure and the points that it has. And so that's why maybe you'll lay on your side to try to get the tongue out of the way. That's why maybe you'll move around because your body is like, hey, hey, I need to breathe. Move your tongue. Um, that's why you wake up or never get to that deep sleep because your body is essentially not getting adequate airflow. And so that's why tongue rest posture matters a lot. But there's all these other areas too, like what's happening in the nose, what's happening with congestion, what's happening in the diaphragm, or do you have constriction of the ribs? I mean, there's this big pump, but I get really nerdy and focused on this little pump up here, and then how it correlates to all the other pumps and the whole body so that it can all work cohesively well together.